For most Stardew Valley players, taking the Joja Route is sacrilege. It's a giant one-finger salute to poor old Grandad who left you his farm, and to the residents of Pelican Town who are relying on you to restore the community centre to its former glory and appease the spirits of nature by completing wholesome bundles bringing prosperity to the valley. On the other hand though, the Joja Route is dead easy and you get to make money. A lot of money. Hi and welcome to the channel. I'm Mo, and today I'm going to attempt to speedrun the Joja Route without any mods, cheats or glitches, and I'm going to try to do it all by the end of spring. Wish me luck. I start in the traditional way, getting my parsnips and planting them as quickly as possible. My main method for making money is through fishing. About a month ago, I underwent a challenge to make 100,000 gold as quickly as I could through fishing alone. I managed that within spring year 1. However, to complete the Joja Route, I'd need 150,000 gold, and if I'm to do that by spring, I'm going to need additional income. That's where the parsnips come in. When I did the Fishing Early challenge, I received a lot of helpful comments on how I could maximise my profits further, and I've used some of those ideas here, so thank you to everyone who made suggestions. Hopefully you'll see your strats implemented in this video. As fishing doesn't unlock until day 2, I spent the rest of the first day getting wood to make some chests. My plan was to keep chests beside my fishing spots so I wouldn't need to increase my bag capacity. I also made sure I was able to clear a path to easily get in and out of my farm. Finally, on that day I bought some potatoes for extra income and planted them beside my parsnips. You'll have noticed that I went for the Riverland farm. That's because I can fish on the farm if I need to, and I get a fish smoker, which doubles the value of any fish. The fish smoker is new in the 1.6 update and makes the Riverland farm seriously useful. I know that if I had opted for a multiplayer farm I could have gained multiple fish smokers, but this felt too much like cheating for me, so I decided I would only go for the one smoker. Either way, I wasn't planning on sitting there and smoking all my fish. That would take my time away from actually fishing. Instead, I would only smoke the higher value fish like catfish and the legend fish, so that their price would be doubled. On day 2 I headed straight over to Willy and got my fishing rod. I needed to get to level 10 as quickly as possible. Previously I'd managed to get to level 10 fishing by day 14, but could I do it faster this time? I also bought some trout soup as day 3 in the game is always rainy, and rainy spring days is when you can catch catfish, the most valuable fish in spring, aside from the legendary catch. I went up to my favourite spot in the mountain lakes and started fishing. I didn't need to worry too much about foraging for food, as you get algae and river jelly from fishing in the mountain lake, and those alone would sustain me enough, keeping my energy levels high throughout the day. Although I caught a lot of fish, I had a plan. I wasn't going to sell the majority of my fish until I got to level 10 fishing. This is because when you get to level 10, your fish are worth 50% more. I would need to sell some fish before to get the iridium rod, but I would do that after getting to level 5 when the fish are worth 25% more. This is why I placed a chest here. I could store all my fish in here, thereby saving the 2,000 gold I would otherwise be spending on bag space. I didn't want to give Pierre 1 penny more than I needed to. My allegiance was to Joja now. Despite not selling the fish, I did sell the items I got from the treasure chests when fishing. This is a nice bit of extra income, especially as you sometimes find diamonds and rubies. True to form, on day 3 it rained and I set up a chest by the river and got to fishing for catfish. I didn't realise until later that I could have caught catfish by my house in the Riverland farm. But it's fine. It's nice to walk around in the rain sometimes drinking trout soup. Annoyingly, I missed a few of the trickier catfish, but by the end of the day I had a few stowed away ready to sell when I leveled up. I also managed to get myself to level 4 fishing. I was hoping for level 5, but given the fish I'd missed, I wasn't surprised. All of day 4 was spent up in the mountain lake fishing. I managed to nab some treasure, and by the end of the day I got to level 5, taking the Fisher perk, meaning my fishing would be worth 25% more. I didn't want to sell the majority of my fish, there was no need. I could have purchased a fiberglass rod at this point to attach bait and potentially catch more fish. However, I didn't feel like spending 1800 gold this early on when I'd soon need to fork out 7,500 gold for the iridium rod. For the sake of a couple of days fishing, I didn't think the loss was worth it. Besides, I wanted to keep some money aside to buy a few more seeds and keep the farming line of income open to me. On day 5 I received my good luck dog from Marnie. Members of my Twitch community suggested I name her Penny for the pun, so I did just that. Hopefully with Penny by my side I'd make a ton of cash. My parsnips were also ready, so I sold those and spent all day up by the mountain lake again fishing. I scored some decent treasure, but only just made it to my house by the end of the day, although not my bed, and passed out by my front door beside the dog. Who hasn't done that, right? I did get to level 6 fishing though, so that's something. Day 6 it rained again, so I headed straight to the river and got to fishing catfish. It was a more successful day and I even fished up a diamond from the treasure chest. Things were looking up. On day 7 my first batch of potatoes were ready. I sold these and a bunch of fish I had in order to finally buy the iridium rod. In addition to that I grabbed a trap bobber and some trout soup and then got to fishing. I planned to save the tackle and the soup for the next rainy day for catfish. I then went back to buy some more potato seeds with my leftover money and planted them. I didn't want to have no money left, but I knew that at least planting crops would be an investment, and it was still early in the game. By the time these potatoes grew I would still be a ways off my target of 150,000 gold. By the end of this day I reached level 7 in fishing. I was on track so far with the rate of my increasing fishing level, I was just hoping to be able to do it faster. Day 8 was another rainy day, so I made the most of it by catching as many catfish as I could and reaching level 8 in fishing. The next few days were pretty similar. I got rain on both days 10 and 11, meaning I was hoarding catfish like nobody's business, and managed to reach level 9 fishing on the 11th of spring. The next few days were just spent fishing up by the mountain lake. By the end of day 14 I had finally hit level 10 in fishing and took the angler perk, making my fish worth 50% more. Once again I wasn't able to get to level 10 any quicker than day 14. I have attempted this multiple times now but I can't seem to manage it. Does anyone have any proven strategies for getting to level 10 faster than by spring 14? Please let me know in the comments below. With the angler perk finally unlocked it was time to sell everything and see how far off my target I was. I smoked some of the more valuable catfish. Again, I didn't want to spend all my time smoking my fish as I had other things to do, but to ensure I was still doing something productive, I fished in the waters surrounding my farm as I waited for the fish to smoke. After all that work, I had managed to make just over 62,000 gold. Now, that's not a small sum to be making in Stardew by day 15 in-game, but honestly, I was underwhelmed. I was expecting a much higher amount of money. However, when I went back to check out my last fishing challenge, by this same point in the game I'd only earned 38,000 gold, so I was actually doing really well in comparison. I finally felt as though I might complete this challenge by the end of spring. However, I still needed rain to fall again so I could catch the legend fish, and that wouldn't likely happen for a long time. With some money in hand, the first thing I did on day 16 was get my Joja membership, thereby condemning the community centre and myself to corporate hell. I'm sorry to everyone still watching and seething, and mostly I'm sorry to Grandpa, who must be turning in his grave. Oh well, back to capitalism. On day 17 I got to work improving Pelican Town for the better. I dropped 35,000 on the greenhouse. That would be vital in ensuring I could make some more money with farming. In my head, I had a rough idea of when I'd be able to catch the legend fish. And if my calculations were correct, I'd still need to plant some crops to supplement my income, so I bought some potato seeds and got to farming. The next improvement I made to the town was through fixing the bridge, and this is where I made a huge mistake, in two ways. Firstly, I should have opened the minecarts. It would have saved me so much travelling time between my fishing locations, thereby letting me catch more fish. Secondly, even after opening up the bridge, I never went into the quarry, not even once. And thinking about it now, had I done so, I could have gotten hold of a lot of material to sell, not to mention geodes and gems too. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. It's also a pain. I did finally unlock the minecarts on day 20, but you know what? It made little difference because I kept forgetting to use them. On day 21 I decided it was finally time to make use of my greenhouse. I should have done it earlier, but I forgot, and then panic set in, so I spent nearly 9,000 gold, all that I had remaining, on both seeds and speed grow fertilizer, worrying that I wouldn't have enough time for them to grow before I caught the legend fish. Still, I knew the money I'd get back from that would be pretty good, so I wasn't too worried. On day 23, my potatoes were finally ready and I used the minecarts for the first time. I spent the day fishing at the mountain lake and made nearly 10,000 gold by the end. I was still around 42,000 gold off my target and there were only 5 days left of spring to complete my challenge. I was beginning to worry that I might not make it in time. Day 24 saw the majority of my parsnips ready for harvest, and that along with the fish brought me a total of... what? 5,628 gold? Wait, didn't those parsnips cost me nearly 9,000 gold to buy? Ugh, the speed grow ruined me and I didn't even need it. What a complete waste of money. I was truly kicking myself at this point. How was I ever going to make this on time? But on day 25, the capitalist overlords Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg shone their money-grabbing light on me and the heavens opened, finally bringing rain. I ran to the Joja Mart and opened up the most useless of all improvements in the village, panning, and then double-timed it back up to the lake to catch me a legend fish. I drank my soup, attached my deluxe bait and trap bobber and waited patiently. Finally I found him, and I was so determined to get him, I caught it first time. After that I didn't waste the rest of my day. I sped down to the river and caught as many catfish as I could. I headed back to my farm early so that I could smoke as many of the fish as possible, doing some additional fishing as I waited. It was only now that I realised I could have been catching catfish on my farm this entire time. It was day 25. I needed 40,000 gold. Would I have enough to unlock the final improvement the next day? No, I only made 33,000 gold, meaning I was still about 800 gold off my target. I've never been so desperate in my life. I ran down to the ocean to catch fish and sell it to Willie as quickly as possible. I managed to scrounge together 40,481 gold in total, ran to the Joja Mart, dropped my money in front of Morris's beady little eyes and unlocked the bus, the final improvement. But it wasn't over yet. I would still need to wait for the next day to initiate the celebration screen. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm saying celebration in air quotes, because what kind of celebration is this? What type of monster have I become? I rushed to bed nonetheless, and the next morning I headed into town both proud and shameful, for I had done it. I had completed the Joja Route by day 27 of spring, year 1, and I was buzzing. There was a time I didn't think I'd make it, but I had. I managed it without any hacks, cheats, glitches or mods. If you guys have done the Joja Route, do you have any suggestions on how I could do this even faster? Please let me know in the comments below. Finally, before I go, I'd like to give a shout out to the channel members, Michelle Aromi, Cactus Brain, Rix, Nintendo Gaming and Brutal Pravis. You can support the channel by becoming a member from as little as 99p a month. Click join below to see the options available. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you again next time.